Hey, it's Kloss from Cosmic Commentary, and today I'm taking a look at the Manchester City Everton game. Now, there are a lot of things that happen in this game, and I'm just here to try and pick apart the things that are maybe a bit contentious, such as the red card, and of course the goal, or both goals, and, well, whether or not either team should have won this game, perhaps. So we'll start with the red card, okay? Kyle Walker. Okay, the first yellow was clearly a yellow, but that second yellow card was really, I don't know how anybody could possibly argue that that was a legitimate second yellow card, or even a free kick for that matter. I heard one of the commentators in the game saying that he had a look at him, and because of that, it's a card suddenly. I mean, it was just a slight nudge. I mean, Calvert-Lewin really made it look so much worse than it was. It was, I mean, I assume he was looking to try and get him sent off. I just can't believe that they made a decision like that, and that someone was actually trying to make excuses for the referee for making that decision, because that was clearly not a red card. Now, looking at Everton's goal, I mean, it was really their only opportunity, their only real opportunity of the whole game. And, well, they scored. One shot on target, one goal. And some could say that it was unfair on Manchester City. But, look, I'm going to say that Manchester City didn't make the most of their opportunities. And they got punished with a bit of sloppy defending on the counter-attack. And, well, 1-0. It happened. Happened against Chelsea last season. Happened here against Everton as well. Now, after Manchester City went down to 10 men, of course, made things a little bit harder for them. And you would expect Everton to at least have more of the possession or something. But it was the same old thing. I mean, obviously, Everton started off on the defensive, and that's understandable. They're travelling away from home, and they're just trying to get Manchester City on the counter-attack. That's normal. But then in the second half, they had so many opportunities to counter against Manchester City. And I just cannot agree with Koeman's tactics in this game. It was just so defensive, and I don't want any Everton fans to feel offended by this, but it was a small club mentality. I couldn't understand it. Why would you do it? He clearly had Manchester City on the ropes, and so many times there were players that they could have countered with just two or three players. You know, just go out, and they'd still have the numbers back. They'd be safe if they just committed a few more players forward. But Calvert-Lewin was on his own up front, basically, and trying to create something when he didn't need to. I mean, Rooney could have pushed on so many times. He was just sitting back and almost playing like this defensive striker role, you know. And I just found it strange that they didn't land that killer blow, and they really should have, because they had 3, maybe 4 opportunities in the second half before they got that red card where they could have really punished Manchester City and made them pay. But they chose not to. They chose to just sit back, and it's only a matter of time before Manchester City is going to come through. I mean, the way to beat Manchester City is to take the game to them. I mean, against the weaker sides, they always have no trouble because they're sitting back, they're trying to hold them off. But as soon as the side attacks them, I mean, saw with Monaco in the Champions League, an aggressive team went at them, and they just couldn't deal with it. Sure, there was a poor management there as well, but also Pep Guardiola's tactics, I can't entirely agree with them either, because in the first half they were just, it was a training drill, you know. They're just so relaxed on the ball, which is fine, but you need to take those opportunities. They had so many opportunities. Manchester City are just a bit too relaxed in their approach, and to be honest, it kind of reminds me of Arsenal in a lot of ways, in the sense that they're just not punishing teams as they should. They're trying to be too fancy. They're trying to be too pretty. You know, they want to play beautiful football, which is all, it's good and all, but it's going to cost you points in the long run. And they're not really asking the questions of Everton that they should have been. I mean, it was just too easy for them to just sit and take it on. It wasn't until Sterling finally took a shot from, well, you know, when he scored that goal, that they managed to score. You know, there were a lot more opportunities for them to take those shots, to take on defenders, and you know, just a little bit of individual effort. You know, I think that's going to be a problem for them, and it just looked like the same Manchester City from last season. They look like they haven't changed whatsoever, both in terms of their defense and attack. And not saying the defense is bad, but it's just that it's vulnerable. So if your defense is vulnerable, your attack's got to be more lethal. It's simple, you know. You got to have one or the other. You got to have either a stonewall defense like Tottenham and Chelsea did last season, or you're just going to have a better attack, and they're just not punishing sides like they should. It'll be easier against teams that probably lack a bit of that quality at the back, but other than that, they're going to find it hard this season. If they can't threaten at home, especially like this, in a game like this, then winning the title is going to be difficult, let's just say, for them. Now, Everton is a mixed bag because obviously last season they were, they were clear seventh. They were a lot better than the rest of the league, but they were clearly not quite up there with the top six. And there was a suggestion that maybe they can bring the fight to the top six this season. But as I was saying before, it seems like they have a small club mentality, and that's just not going to cut it. I mean, like, sure, they're away from home, but when you've got the one-man advantage, you go for the kill. And they just have that mentality that, look, we're a smaller club and we're not going to threaten, so we'll just take the 1-0 win, you know. But if Everton really wants to compete with the top six, or even especially for the top four, then they've got to change that mentality, because at the moment, they're not going to get there like that. That said, another positive for Everton is Wayne Rooney and, of course, Sigurdsson now coming in. That's going to add to experience into their ranks, and they look like they really need that, because they've got quite a young squad at the moment. But I don't think they're quite ready there to make that challenge for the top six unless something drastic happens to the rest of the top six. But still early in the season, we'll see what happens. So in summary, Manchester City are probably, it's very likely they'll make the top four again this season, but if they keep playing like this, it's going to be the same as last season. They're going to drop too many points, so they're going to have to pick something up, otherwise they can say goodbye to the title, because there's just too much competition out there. Everton probably need a bit more work to get into that top six, but once again, I expect them to be better than the rest this season. But I think these new players will take a bit of time to integrate, especially with the youth they've got in the team. So I think this season will be they'll do pretty well, but more or less it's going to be setting them up for next season, because I don't think they're going to be quite ready to make that charge just yet. So what's your opinion on this game? Where do you think Man City is going to finish? Do you think they lacked a bit of a killer instinct there? Do you think that card should have been read? And where do you think Everton's going to go this season? Do you think Everton have a psychological barrier that's stopping them from achieving greater things? Leave your comments down below and what you thought. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Me and Cos like to talk about EPL and a bit of Australian rules football while that season's finishing up. We've got a Facebook page and a Tumblr account. The links are in the description below. All the news is in the Facebook account, and there's just a few articles that we've been writing up on Tumblr. But thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next time.